Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and these kids went up to me saying how they wanted to do gaming videos on YouTube, and they asked me a bunch of questions because they were talking about capture cards, and I'm like, oh, I do YouTube, I know what it's like. So they asked me a bunch of questions, including how much money I make and stuff. But it got me thinking, is it a good idea to do gaming videos now? It really all depends, honestly. I'm gonna be straight up right now. If you're gonna try to do it for money, you're not gonna have fun. If you're gonna be doing Let's Plays just regularly like a playthrough of a game, you're not gonna have fun. Unless you are super hilarious like Game Grumps, or if you're super good at like Call of Duty or Smash something like Ali A or Alpha Rad, you're not going anywhere. Just look at Kabanamani456 and Brain Scratch Commentaries. Hell, Kabanamani456 doesn't even do Let's Plays much anymore. Brain Scratch Commentaries, they're having a hard time getting some views from what I understand. When it comes to Let's Plays, people are not there for the game. They're there mainly for the commentary, for the person there. With that being said, I'm not that great at doing Let's Plays. I'm going to be straight up honest. If you're going to be doing gaming content on YouTube, like sometimes I do some Project M videos or Guitar Hero videos, and those get some pretty good views by themselves. But if you want to do some gaming content on YouTube, I honestly recommend doing streaming. And if you're going to be doing streaming, you're better off just going with Twitch, because that's where everyone else is. Luckily, getting into streaming isn't as heavily investing as it used to be. You can start out with a PS4 or an Xbox One and just be good with that. But if you're gonna really get into it, you're gonna want to invest in some proper equipment. The YouTube or Twitch starter kit for streaming and stuff is super simple. An Elgato, I recommend an HD60 or an HD60S. A Blue microphone, people recommend a Snowball or a Yeti. I have a Yeti and it's alright. And a Logitech C920 for a 1080p webcam. When it comes to pricing, let's see, the Elgato, at least the HD60, is going to cost you about $130 to $150. It all depends on where you get it from. You could probably get a used one for like $110 on eBay. A Yeti, at least this gray one, the oldest model that you can get, is probably like $80. Unless you want to get the Blackout Edition, which does look pretty sexy, that's going to cost you about $100. The Logitech C920, just a regular one, not the C922 or anything, that's going to cost you roughly $50 to $80. On the other hand, kinda stepped it up quite a bit. With my Yeti, I also got myself a shock mount that actually looks really great. That's going to cost you about 35 bucks. You're going to want to get a pop filter. This one's almost kind of necessary, actually, unless you want your audio quality to sound like shit. There's two different ones. There's ones that's like this, so it's easier to manage, and it also almost acts as a wind filter, or the ones that actually go over like your mic arm and actually covers it with a big circle. Those ones look the coolest, honestly. They look more professional. Those are less than 10 bucks. You'll be fine. This mic arm that I have, this one cost me $100. Not all mic arms cost that much, but I recommend if you do end up getting a mic arm, at least if you want to have a mic arm for your mic, I wouldn't recommend getting a Yeti then, because a Yeti is a very heavy mic, and if you want to have this mic on a mic arm, you're gonna want to invest in a $100 one, because the cheap $20 ones from China, the bases cannot handle it. They will warp and snap. I've already had two go bad on me already. But if you do want to have a cheap mic arm, but a decent mic, actually a relatively good mic, I'd recommend the Audio-Technica AT2020. That's going to cost you slightly over $100, if I remember correctly, unless the price went down. If you're going to be getting a capture card, I'd recommend either the Elgato HD60 or the HD60S, because they are the most simple ones to use. Especially the HD60S, because here, the HD60S has no latency input. So like with my regular capture card, my Elgato HD60, just regular, it's about a half-second delay. So you gotta offset the mic, you gotta offset the webcam, and that gets annoying quick. But if you want it to be super easy for you, then upgrade to the HD60S. However, you are gonna need a beast of a computer to handle that. Or if you have a desktop, just go for the HD60 Pro, because then you don't have anything that takes up room on your desk or anything. I also use a HDMI switcher, so it's easier for me to go from one console to another. When it comes to my webcam, I use a Logitech Brio. It's a $200 4K webcam. Honestly, I don't recommend it. Like, it's a decent webcam. Unless you want to do some videos like this, you don't really need it. The C920 will do you just fine. I just got this because I got it on a very good deal. I paid a lot less than $200. And you also might want to get a tripod, maybe. It's not completely necessary. Gonna want to get some lighting. Lighting is key. And I have a green screen. Not necessary, but it's cool to have. And of course, a cool gaming chair. This is not a real DX Racer. This one will only cost you about 150 bucks. You can get some for about 110 on Amazon that are decent chairs. At least that are looking like racing seats. But a real DX Racer, which trust me, they are a lot more comfortable, they're going to cost you about $300. There's a lot you can invest in YouTube. And also, you're going to need a cool gaming computer. Like, not cool, but you're going to need a powerful gaming computer. Anything that's going to be decent is going to start roughly around $700 or $800. And there's also, of course, trying to build your audience. You are going to start at nothing, and it's going to drag on for a while, only having 1 or 2 people in your chat. Eventually, you're going to get more viewers. I started streaming on Twitch like a year or 2 ago, and I had a decent time. But I don't do it as often anymore. At least not on Twitch. On Twitch, I actually stopped. But when it comes to streaming on YouTube, I'm streaming on YouTube now because it's where my viewers are at, really. And YouTube properly introduced gaming into streaming on YouTube. And plus, a little bit of ad revenue. Tiny bit. But again, most importantly, it's where my viewers are at. So, when it comes to me streaming on YouTube, I pretty much had an easy time. It was almost like my fan base on my Twitch chat or whatever was instant, you know? Sometimes I'll be streaming, and I'll not be live for like 10 seconds, and I already have a full chat. It's not too often, but when it does, it's crazy. But I'm dragging on. I'm sorry. You're going to have to invest a lot if you want to get really good into it. You got to have the passion. If you're going to be spending that kind of money, you got to have a real passion into it. So I would say start with just like the PS4 or Xbox One or something. And if you really enjoy that, then invest more into it. And who knows, you might build an audience. How some of my viewers, like the Nova Player or Pokev Sim or whatever, they stream by themselves and they have a decent following by themselves. And it makes me so happy that they have a decent audience, that they're also creating content. But anyway, again, I'm dragging, I'm sorry. But do I recommend doing YouTube for gaming? Mainly for streaming. I would recommend streaming. When it comes to actual gameplay videos, it's really sketchy. I just wish you luck. Let me know in the comments, do you want to do a gaming channel? And if so, what kind of videos would you make? Even though I'm only at about 6,000-7,000 subscribers, I have an amazing time. And it's honestly the sweetest spot for YouTube, at least when it comes to streaming, because you can like keep up with the chat relatively easily. When it comes to your comments, you can like reply to all of them and not worry about being flooded. It's a wonderful time. And if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's my social medias as well as my Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best, and I love y'all to death, and I'll see you on the next one.